This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformation with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives and Soul Agreements. 3 audio CD series, metaphysical meditations, sourcing series, and sleep programming. Tara has also collaborated with Emmy Award-winning Shane Stanley and Marla Maples on numerous DVDs. Tara Sutphen is a master in the psychic sciences. If you'd like to find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams, visit her website at tarasutphen.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. This is Tara Sutphen, and today my guest is R.C. Matheson. He's an author, screenwriter, and a producer. He has a new book of short stories called Zoopraxia, which will be published June 2016, so next month, everybody. And he's on many film projects, and we'll get a glimpse of what he's been writing and working on lately. R.C. writes his own series and films, but he's also written for just everybody who's somebody in Hollywood. And, you know, I wrote out just what Rolling Stone has written about him, and really great authors, Stephen King and Ray Bradbury. And he's done a lot of parapsychology through UCLA, and I want you to welcome Richard Christain Matheson, who is also known as R.C.
I answer to either. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning. So, R.C. and I have been best friends for, I think, 30 years now.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, when I say best friends, I mean, you know, like it's an everyday best friend sort of thing. And yeah, we've never had any fights or anything. So it's like pretty congenial. We always are laughing.
Today. We should do it today. Maybe we just have our first fight today on the air.
You think?
Maybe it's time. The time has come.
Well, I want to hear about what all your new projects are. You're going to have a book come out next month, Zoopraxia.
Yeah, it's my third short story collection. It's called Zoopraxis, and it's got 22 new stories in it. It's typical of the other stories. It's from a school of literature called magic realism, which is where everything is normal, but you insert one small anomaly into it, and it changes everything. It changes the outcome. It changes the meaning. There's about, I think, 17 original illustrations by a really fine artist named Harry O. Morris. And I've got a couple of great introductions and all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful book. And these stories they're stories that were written during a time in my life where a lot of things had changed. My father had passed away, and I run our company now, and there's a lot of just things swirling in my life. And I think these new stories reflect kind of a new time that I'm going through right now.
Right. So, so how many short stories are in the book?
22, and so that takes it up to, almost 100 stories that I've published.
Wow.
Yeah. And my first one was called Scars and Other Distinguishing Marks. My second one was called Dystopia, and that one actually became a #1 bestseller on Amazon. And then there's this one, Zoopraxis, and then I'm already putting together thoughts for, the next one.
Right. So I had put out Zoopraxia. I wonder if is Zoopraxia a word, did I just?
I don't know.
Just the A and the S?
It's a great word. We should formalize it today.
We should take that word too.
Yeah. Zoopraxis, by the way, is that machine. We all saw versions of it when we were kids, where you put something in the middle, like an object in the middle, and it's surrounded by mirrors, like a circle of mirrors. And as the mirrors turn, it looks as if the thing is moving, or the more kind of book version of it is if you've ever got a flip book, and as you flip through it, it looks like a character's moving, like if Mickey Mouse is waving his hands or something. With each page, as you flip it, if you flip it quickly enough, it creates almost a look of animation, and that's what the idea of Zoopraxis is. That something stays in one place, but everything around it changes it.
Oh my God, that's a cool concept.
Yeah, it is a cool concept, and I just love the word. I just think it's a beautiful and very, very kind of rare word, Zoopraxis.
Yeah, well, you always love words.
I love words. I love words. Yeah, they're music, and you know the way you put words together, you can change the melody of one sentence just by changing words, taking words out, shifting things around. It really is. It's extremely not just percussive, but melodic. They really are melodic. Two words put together, three words put together in a particular way. It is really quite beautiful. There's a harmony. There's a kind of a harmony that comes to it.
Yeah, you make it into music.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And are you still drumming? You guys are going to have a new album come out?
Yeah, we've been working on Christain Sturgis Jr. He goes by PG, just like me. We go with acronyms. He's PG, I'm RC. Mm-hmm. We don't let people around us that have to use their full name, you know. And so we've been working at it. We also did some recording previously with Craig Spector, who had worked with us on our first album. So I think we're going to combine everything, and we'll have an album that'll be kind of the best of what we did post the first album, which was called Fade In. Our band was called Smash Cut. And that should be probably about 15 songs, maybe 20, something like that. And actually, your brother Jason, who's a superb producer, is helping us with all that as well.
Right. Yeah, Jason is really great. And they all know Jason because Jason has been subbing for me while I was in New Zealand and running around the whole world. Jason has been, my sub.
Well, I know everybody is aware he's such a stellar tarot card reader and a highly sensitive in his interaction with people that he does readings with. But he's also, when it comes to music, on top of doing his own music, he's been a really wonderful producer for us. He produced our first album. That was Fade In. That was the Smash Cut album. And he and I have been involved doing music together for a long time, like as long as I've known you.
Yeah.
So, he's got all kinds of talents.
He does. And, I have brothers who have talents. I mean, Scott, too. Voice. We have this family thing. You and I we're a family of friends, and we've been best friends and family, consider each other family for a long time. And then we have our other family, our biological families who are very talented. Everybody kind of comes together and helps each other. It's kind of fun.
I think the message probably was given that it's a good thing to create. And I know in my family, having a father that not only loved creating but did well with it, it makes you feel like you can actually make a living doing it. I think where people get rattled is they think, well, how can I ever make a living doing this? And it just takes perseverance.
Yeah. So now, who's your favorite author?
Oh my God, it's so many.
Yeah, probably something. I do too.
I'm actually putting a thing at the end of Zoopraxis. I put in a long list of the people that I think are really wonderful. There's a guy named Martin Amis, who I love. He's an English writer. Just beautiful. I'm kind of a style guy. I like style. I'll take style over plot anytime. So it's the use of language that's beautiful. I always loved F. Scott Fitzgerald. There's a wonderful English writer named J.G. Ballard who writes these beautiful things. Ray Bradbury, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And my father wrote beautiful, wonderful things. And so it's not a massive list, but there's probably, I would say, 50 writers that I've been just very, very aware of. And there's current writers that I read that are not just fiction. Like there's a guy who writes for Vanity Fair named James Woolcott, who I just love to read. He just takes language for this crazy acrobatic ride, and it's all over the place, but it's so fun and it's so original the way he comes up on a thought, and he spins it, and he kind of flips it, and it's just a complete blast to read. It doesn't matter what he's writing about. He writes about everything you can imagine. I loved Christopher Hitchens. So for me, language is the key to the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. No. Words and language.
Yeah.
And, and sincerity, I think, behind the words.
Yes.
You like a certain amount of feeling, like an emotional, like there's something going on.
And it's levels of perception. I mean, the more perceptive the writing is, which can be reflected just in the actual language itself, in the choices of language, how things are described, what's left out, what you include, what you exclude, that kind of thing. My father always said that one of a really fine piece of writing, the reader should do half the work. And I think what he meant by that is that when you describe everything, when you're that thorough in your writing, it can have a sort of a alienating effect on the reader. I mean, some readers like to have everything described. They want to know what the trees are doing, and they want to know what the clouds look like, and they want to know what people are wearing. And they want every detail. I find that fiction, in particular, it's more inviting and it's more evocative when you don't do that. When you leave a lot of stuff out, it's like meeting somebody. They're more mysterious when they don't tell you everything.
Yeah. Now, what you have a couple projects coming up, some films.
Well, it's been a busy year. I mean, I'm doing a number of things in film and TV. So I'm just right in the middle of it right now. As a matter of fact, a pilot for A&E. They're the network that does Bates Motel, and so this is kind of a dark, 1-hour series. Can't say really anything more about it than that, but it's fascinating. And then the other one is for AMC. They're the network that does The Walking Dead. And I'm actually collaborating with this one with a guy named Nick Pileggi, who wrote Casino and wrote Goodfellas, which is one of my all-time favorite mob movies. And this is very similar. It's a little bit of it's kind of a glimpse of America and where we are in America and where we may or may not be going, this country. So it's a little bit of a study of all that. So in the middle of that, and then film-wise, the film that's coming to the fore with Lionsgate, a big sort of sci-fi movie, and then another film that my friend Joe Dante is directing, which is kind of a scary movie. And I wrote something about plastic surgery, which fascinates me. Mm-hmm. It does.
It does. Well, there's a psychological bent behind plastic surgery.
But what's weird about it is in some cases it makes people genuinely look great. I mean, we have a friend that did something, and the effect is just wonderful. She looks beautiful. I mean, she was always beautiful, but it's undetectable, the effect, but it looks wonderful.
Are you talking about me? I'm kidding.
Of course, only the good stuff.
I've never had plastic surgery.
I haven't either. And then we both know. I mean, we all know people, or we've seen pictures of people where the outcome is it's terrible. It's just terrible, and they lose sort of the essence of what they had. And then the other thing you see it a fair amount in Los Angeles in show business, is women who look where the outcome is very similar. Where, there's 10 of them that have had the same surgery, possibly even used the same surgeon, and they almost look the same. There's this conformity of the aesthetic, and I find that interesting. The whole thing to me is interesting. It's a very strange thing, to the idea that by transforming the outside of yourself, you can transform the inside of yourself, which of course is folly. It doesn't work like that. There was a famous plastic surgeon named Maxwell Maltz, who wrote a book called Cybernetics long ago, but he was ahead of the curve, and he said, after doing all these plastic surgeries, he discovered that none of the people felt any better about themselves because they had inverted they had inverted the whole idea of what it is that makes you feel better, which is that it has to emanate from within. You can't go from the outside and change the inside. Not that quickly. Not that quick. It's different if you start transforming your body through through exercise and diet. Those kinds of things can make you feel differently. But when you just go in for a couple of hours and they shift something around on your face, particularly when you're trying to look younger. If it's something that's been sort of out of balance on your face, like your nose is too big or something, and they change it, that's different. That gets you immediately into a better aesthetic. You're more in balance. But the pursuit of youth is the part that's so interesting.
Yes. But even the pursuit of beauty sometimes can be like so interesting in people. I knew a young girl who had a nose job. I mean, she was probably in her early 20s, and it made her beautiful right away. But boy, did she go downhill in the drug culture. It was like, what the heck is happening here? Looks so beautiful, and yet it didn't help her. Yeah. If
you go you could almost write a story about a woman who doesn't know what to do with newfound beauty. It's like inheriting money or winning the lottery. You don't know what to do with it. You become overwhelmed by the amount of options that you now have. I mean, in theory, a homely woman has very few options, or fewer options than a really beautiful woman. But too many options can overwhelm a person and capsize them, and they don't know how to deal with all those options.
Well, yeah, you hear about that all the time when people win the lottery. Just because it brings on a new set of problems, and you haven't studied you didn't have money in the first place. So, and then all of a sudden you have all this money and you don't know what to do with it. And it's probably burning a hole in people's pockets.
Anything you didn't have in the first place that's big, whatever it is, whether it's it's beauty, it's money, or perhaps tragedy. That's the other thing that can happen, where everything's going great and then kaboom, something terrible. That anything you're not acclimated to, and that you have no fluency with, is going to potentially throw you into a tailspin.
Right. Right. Even as instability, I think, so many people lost their homes, and a few years ago they did all that the balloon mortgages and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when our house burned down, I was married at the time to a very nice woman named Marie, who we're still all friends with.
Yes.
And when our house burned down, Marie was at the time doing her doctorate all about, how people recover, why people recover, and from tragedy, from calamity. And what she discovered was it's the meaning you attach to things. So that if you think that when something terrible is happening, number one, if you call it terrible, that's the first choice that you're making. Number two, if you think that the universe is picking on you, that's different than saying, well, this is an opportunity. Sort of one door closes, another door opens. So it's not what happens to you, it's what you think is happening to you.
Right, it's that illusion you live.
Yes. I mean, there's things that are undeniable. It's not that you can't just trick yourself with a quick little perceptual jujitsu, and you go, well, this is fine, this is just a lesson. I mean, there are things that are genuinely so traumatic that you can't do it that way. But there's a very big category of things where meanings are attached that are flexible. And so the whole point of what she found out was that depending on how you look at it, that will affect your experience.
Yes.
And then you have to attach meaning to anything. If you don't attach meaning to something, you are at sea. You're at sea. So you have to attach a meaning to things. And, of course, ideally, a good meaning, a positive meaning.
Right. Well, and the thing is that it's hard to attach a positive meaning if you lost a loved one or if you're going through a terrible sickness or something. It's very hard to attach. Whereas, and that is the opportunity toward wellness or toward living your truth.
Yeah, I think it's the hardest thing of all is to find that positive kind of, not the definition of what you're going through, but to find a positive place to stand, a positive place to look at the whole thing. So it's a huge challenge.
Yes. Yeah, it can be. It's all viewpoint. I believe it's all viewpoint. So it's what people want to live with and what people want to let go of, and it can be a war, or it can be a picnic. We choose what we want. I definitely feel that sometimes the train is coming and you can't get off the tracks. You're going to have to pick up the pieces. But there's a lot of times that we can avoid things and we don't move fast enough to avoid them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we don't see it coming, or we're not thinking it through enough to be able to anticipate what's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. So and that's
too much,
changing.
Then you change what's coming. You actually alter the purity of what's coming. If you anticipate it too much and you become too directive about it, then the purity of what is happening to you has been to some degree altered by your own input. And so there's a sort of a sweet spot between how much you steer your life and how much you are simply open to the things that are coming toward you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you could become just so controlling about all of the things that happen to you that, in a way, nothing's happening to you.
Right. And sometimes I see when that happens too, to where it's it's you overreact or you're underreacting. It's like, just go forward. Keep going forward with a good attitude, and everything's going to be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But, it's all around us, as far as everybody, I think we're tested by watching our friends and family go through things and not really being able to do anything, for them other than, saying kindness and being there. To be, to stand in your own person as far as who you love and why you love them, and to be there for people close to you is like an amazing, beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. I've seen it over and over where people are they scatter to the winds whenever there's a problem, or they're frozen, they don't know how to move. There's a lot of different things that happen, whereas it's all about the balance of it all. As we go 65 million miles an hour through space.
I will
Gravity is the only thing that keeps us here.
Gravity is not a rumor. Gravity is here to stay. Right. But I will say that having been friends for 30 years with you and gone through so many different experiences, and seen all kinds of transitions that we've gone through, that friends of ours have gone through, our families have gone through, that you've always maintained a very naturally positive interpretation of things.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just for yourself, but for others. I mean,
yes. I help others.
It never felt like it was just, this is a good idea, this is what I should do. It really emanated from, I think, like a core belief that you have, and it gives people a lot of not just reassurance, but I think it can genuinely heal people. Because when you're in a state of really being terrified about whatever's going on, or just absolutely disoriented, to hear sort of, a genuine kind of feeling of, this is going to be okay, this is going to work out, this is all for the best, that's powerful stuff. And there's not a lot of it that you run into in this world.
Yeah, well, I think it's with the psychic ability, and I could be very wooey and be out of my head a lot and idealistic, but in reality, I'm very practical with my. Oh, yeah, you're very practical. Yeah, I'm very practical, and so this is what I use with my psychic ability, as far as like, what are we going to do for the next steps? I mean, it's not. Money is an illusion. A lot of things are an illusion. Until you're not here on the planet, then you don't have a chance to orient yourself, like forgive those who you love, or come back kind of full circle in who you are and what your values are. I mean, it's all about kind of values, I believe.
Well, I've never seen you get stuck, not really stuck, that you always have found the way to look at anything for yourself and for others that creates a positive path ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's finding that way out instead of crumbling.
Yeah.
No crumbling, everybody.
Yeah, no crumbling.
With that,
hey,
we're
are you crumbling? Stop it.
Yeah,
hey, you over there. Hey, you crumbler.
Yeah, stop it. Come back to
yourself.
Move
on, crumbler.
Move forward.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Way clearing. So, hey, we're going to take a commercial break. And I want you to be able to first, though, to be able to find Richard. And it's at www.richardchristianmatheson.com. And we'll spell his name after we come back from the break. Okay. You're listening to Transformations.
Welcome to Transformation with Tara Sutphen. If you'd like to find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations, visit her website at tarasutphen.com.
You've listened to the shows on CTR, and perhaps you've found yourself thinking, maybe I should host my own show, but I don't know how. It's easier than you think. From the beginning, with private coaching sessions to your own live broadcasts, CTR Network will prepare you on every level to share your knowledge, expand your brand, and take your business to the next level. At CTR, we nurture your vision and make it a radio reality. Contact Cameron Steele at 425-221-3646 or Cameron at ctrnetwork.com and put your dream into motion today.
Welcome to Transformation with Tara Sutphen. Become involved now by calling 877-230-3062.
Hey.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. This is Tara Sutphen, and I'm talking to R.C. Matheson, and he is an author, a screenwriter, a producer, so prolific in films and writing, and one of my best friends. So welcome back, Richard.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you can go to rcmatheson.com and find him, and that's easier for you guys. R.C. Matheson, MATHESON.com. Yeah.
Or they can just drive up alongside of me and just wave at me.
Hey, that's so funny. I came back from Utah, and I thought it was so interesting that who I live with in the house, where I live in Los Angeles, I saw one of them out in the in Malibu at the Heather Cliff for a moment, and then but I didn't see him at the house. I only saw him out, and then I turned around and I was at another appointment, and I saw the other person I live with for a moment. It was just like, what the heck? Yeah,
synchronicity.
Very synchronicity.
Yeah,
I thought that was odd. So do you find you have weeks where everything seems scattered, no matter how you try to kind of, integrate things, and then other weeks, or a week even, where everything just seems so congruent and there's so much synchronicity? Yeah, for me, I think these days, because I source on that so much, that there's blessings like every day. I get the most beautiful, letters, and people, I expect kind of the very best out of people. And so people just, like, they stop on the street and say the nicest things. I don't know what that is, but I know it's a generation of whatever my energy is doing and my thought process. I just don't. So every day is kind of like synchronistically kind of amazing. Like and then when I know when someone's in trouble, I like yesterday I lit all my candles that I was really sourcing and praying because I knew that someone close to me was in trouble. And of course, they were. So, and so the thing is that, I try to be on top of everything, like on a spiritual basis, on the physical level, on the emotional level, and the intellectual level. Like really put it out there that everything's going to come together very nicely, and expect miracles every day. And so it happens.
How do you keep track of it all? You have a not just a large circle of friends, but literally a global circle of friends.
Yeah.
These are not just names on Facebook. These are relationships that you have. How do you keep track of it all?
Well, usually I work with small groups. I'm hired a lot these days for like small mystery school groups, and it really helps me as far as like not being too overloaded. And I have 2 assistants. So that's really what
so if you tried to do it all by yourself, it would be daunting.
Yeah, it's daunting because it's just the keeping in touch with people. I love all my friends, but it's just really hard for me to. Yeah. As you know, we come in and out all the time.
That's why I'm
but
so
we're always
struck
so
by
happy.
how you do it. You do it better than anybody I know, and it's we all have the same amount of time every day, and it's finding the way to do it gracefully and to do it, so it has so it continues to be a personal communication, not just quick little notes that don't mean anything.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of people who are, there's a fine line between a friend and someone who's just wanting psychic, build up too, and they want me to source for them. They want me to do, because the sourcing, you don't ever really see it because, I'm asking the other side a lot to do things for me. But, I have all that documentation all these years that, when we ask for certain things, they do happen. And
how is your temple dog? I didn't even get a chance to ask you about your temple dog.
She's really, really good. My French dog. Yeah. She's doing great. And I brought her home, and Bentley, we thought, my French bulldog, who everybody loves, but he's a bit of a difficult child. He doesn't like other dogs.
Photographs than in person,
Right. He's such a little movie star by himself.
He's very photogenic. Whatever he does, he's very photogenic.
Yeah, and he is a rascal. But he, it was really good that I got him a puppy. Hunter wanted me to save this puppy because he, I don't know if you heard that story, but in Petco, where I told him, we can pet the puppies, but I'm not taking any of them home. We're here for a cat brush. Mm-hmm. So, we went and washed our hands, and after petting all the puppies and cat brush aisle, and Hunter says, I really like the white one. They're going to probably put him down soon. And I was like, Hunter, you're the cat person. What do you mean they're going to put the dog down soon? Yeah. So I ended up taking home the dog, but it was, so that was Ghost. But Ghost is, Hunter and I share Ghost. And, he's really been great with Bentley, because it was like Bentley needed a puppy to settle him down and have a best friend. And then when I brought in Sophia, I wasn't so sure that Bentley would love Sophia. And he didn't ever try to fight with her, which I thought was interesting. And now all 3 of them are the best.
And Sophia is the one that came up from Brazil?
Yes, Sophia. Yeah, which in Greek means wisdom. And I didn't realize when I was yelling it down the street, Sophia, she came running, that it was wisdom. And here she is, the temple dog. But yeah, I just needed to rescue. I told the kids that, because they said, oh, Mom, another dog. And I said, it's just the thought of rescuing somebody who will never be rescued unless so I chose one dog and I did it.
Yeah.
And then
dog has had, my God.
I know, but I want to tell you that
Brazil, it's incredible.
So there's more to that story that's even more beautiful. Is I inspired a she's a naturopathic veterinarian from Los Angeles. She is there now, and she's treating all the dogs in Abidjan. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's making, warming them or whatever it is. She's naturopathic, helping all these dogs.
Wow.
So that's kind of nice.
Well, I cannot wait to meet Sophia. I have not met Sophia yet, so I'm very, 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 very happy at the thought of meeting Sophia.
Dog. I call her a Brazilian Terrier now because people ask me what kind she is, and it's just like she's such a mutt. I don't know.
Because
and so I just say
because of where you met her and because of being around all that energy, does she have something extra special about the way she is with people?
She's a nurse dog. She's very much a nurse. She went to someone here in California right away who'd had some surgery. So I was really happy with that. And then she didn't want to leave their side when she was with them. So it was really sweet. And, I'm going to make her a service dog. And if I don't have time to do it, because I don't have a lot of time to be running around, I will have someone volunteer. And Cheyenne has asked if she can take her to some rest homes and to some children's hospitals and that sort of thing that we can share. Sophia.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be perfect for Cheyenne. What a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and Ghost is really gentle too. So we make Bentley. I would love to make him a service dog because people are so attracted to him as a French bulldog.
Does he have the patience to do it?
Well, he might. He's like holding a bowling ball, and he's a bit rascally.
Yeah,
and
he's got a lot of energy.
He has a lot of energy. It might be a little too much for somebody who's alien.
I think the dogs that I've seen, and I've seen them in hospitals, by the way. They're very, very, very calm. They're happy, but they'll jump up on a patient's bed. It's fantastic. You see like some kid in the hospital in a bed, and these dogs will come up and just lay with the kid. And I mean, it changes everything. It changes everything. I mean, it's amazing that the healing thing that gets transmitted with these dogs. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, and she's, met thousands and thousands. There's 2,000 to 4,000 people that come a week to John of God. Wow. And so she has already been in service, greeting, people who are ailing. It was just that, John of God is so prolific and he's in his 70s now. And, he has all these people to try to heal and he's so genuine that it's, he just doesn't have time for pets or dogs and it's okay. It should be somebody else's job. And so, it's just generating some of that.
Fantastic. Well, I've got to meet Sophia. So one of these days soon.
Yeah. Well, RC and I are all about dogs anyway. I had a dog, a Samoyed, and I took her down to a breeder in San Diego to have baby Samoyeds, but instead she got out one day, and one of my best friends down the street, her Australian Shepherd got a hold of Talon. And so Richard Christain had these dogs, these puppies. He took 2 puppies. And you had them 16, 17 years.
Oh, yeah, I think Marie and I actually, we got Oreo and Brulee. And we were going to, actually we did the thing that never works, which is we'll take 2 home and we'll audition them and see which one works. And of course, 24 hours later, we have to have both of them.
Of course.
But they were fantastic. I mean, it's a great breed. They have they have a great sense of humor. They're very smart. They love people. They're very gentle and adventurous, and they made it to 16. And they were not, they were not pampered, with all kinds of, homeopathic this and stuff. We'd take them to McDonald's, and buy them burger pounders, and we probably did everything wrong, except that they were, they knew that they were loved. They had a great life. They would go and run on the beach, and it was just, it was sort of like paradise for them.
Yeah, all those puppies had 5-star lives, but you gave those 2 dogs. We always said the 5-star life, and they were in heaven.
Yeah, they were great.
I do the same thing with my dogs. I never eat fast food, but I'll roll through McDonald's or Carl's Jr. just so that I can get doggy patties for them.
Well, right, that's the trick. You go through and what we would do is we would never get the whole burger. We would just say, give us just the patty, right? And they, of course, they just love that. But they began to recognize the golden arches. They could spot it from a block away.
Right.
We were driving down there. You could see their ears perk up. Up there's McDonald's.
Yeah. They were. It's like making little kids, like fast food junkies.
I actually taught one of them to say hello. It was Oreo. He was one of those dogs that when they would bark, they're not quite barking, but they sort of they make that noise when they're sort of like they're trying to communicate with you. And he was a dog that would look you straight in the eye all the time. And so I would look him straight in the eye and I would say hello, and I would do that every day, 100, 200 times. And after a while, he would start to say hello. I actually got him to say hello. There was no mistaking he was saying hello. It was incredible. So I think with a little more time, I could have had him giving speeches,
Yeah. Well, those words, and he was such a great dog. Both the boys were so sweet.
Yeah, he would just put his head in your lap and stare at you.
Right. And now you and Diana have doggies, too. You should have them as a whole circus act.
Yeah. Yeah. They could shoot me out of a cannon. I could see that. Just a little distance from... Oh, my God. Well, again, it's 6 chihuahuas. They're insane. It's like the Baskervilles around here.
Yeah.
Well, they have extraordinary hearing. They can hear everything. And so, if somebody changes their opinion 2 houses over, these chihuahuas go mad.
Right. Well, yeah. They are. They're the committee now.
Yes. Yeah, and I think I'm sure no burglar would bother in my house. So they would just go, "Oh, forget it. It's too annoying in there."
I love it. I do love it. Oh, I know it's heaven. It's doggy heaven.
Yes.
Fluffball heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but I'm sure they just point now to what they want to eat in the refrigerator, and you. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have a mutiny if we don't fix this.
I think a jet engine is quieter than they are. I'm trying to remember if I had mentioned to you. I'm looking toward directing my novella, The Ritual of Illusion, into a film.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when I get a little time here, because I'm just inundated, because we've also got a couple of projects on Broadway with the company.
Right, I saw that with some of your dad's writings.
Yeah. One of them we're talking about being an opera, and we've got it's actually 3 productions total, 2 plays and one opera. A play, a musical, and an opera, and so that's all. That's all very active right now, very exciting.
Is Eric involved with any of that?
No, I would love to involve Eric.
I would too.
In all kinds of things in my life. This is our friend Eric Alleman.
Yeah, we love Eric.
Yeah, he did when my friend Norman and I created Chemistry, which was our series on Cinemax. Eric did all the music for the whole thing, for all 13 episodes, and he's very talented. Very, very talented. He's written not operas, he's written ballets. I think his project, Battleship Potemkin, is going to be opening in Germany. He's fluent in German, so it was a very comfortable fit for him to go over there and get the whole thing going. But it's this whole ballet. It's remarkable what he's done. Oh, yeah. No, he is. He's prolific, too. Yes, and he has the best hair in Malibu. Oh, he does. Beautiful hair. Man or woman, doesn't matter. Eric, it goes right to the head of the line. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and besides just being really wonderfully talented, he's, is nice and sincere and the type of people we love.
I have found that I don't know that this is necessarily just, the rule, but the people I've known in my life that were really the most talented were the nicest. I don't know what the connection is, except that they love what they're doing and things are going well, and they wake up every day thrilled to be doing it. And I guess that's the connection right there.
The appreciation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, is that what you think maybe it is?
And I also think they're in sync with themselves. They're in sync with themselves. They're doing the thing that they love. They're doing it all the time. And it feels wonderful to be doing the thing that you're meant to be doing.
Do you think when people...
why wouldn't you be nice,
Well, we've seen so many people in the media who feel guilty for being successful, or they feel guilty, or they just, all of a sudden they stop. Like they don't know where to go, and they created a box instead of a doorway. Mm-hmm. What do you think sometimes that is? Were
they trying that they hit a wall of a kind?
Yeah, they just hit a wall.
I think either in some cases they have picked the thing that is not their strongest gift. They've picked the thing that they think they would like to do, but it's not their most natural, inveterate gift. And other times they're so, I think, absorbed in what they're doing that they're not looking at how the marketplace is changing. They're not looking at because you have to be a businessman too. You have to be sensitive to the business end of things as well. So, as a screenwriter right now, it would be tough to get a Western going, for example. Not impossible. Things come around, things change, but it's not in the thing that is most in vogue at the moment. And there are analogous things in the music business. There are different kinds of things that come and go. And I think you at least have to have a sensitivity to that. You can't create with the marketplace in mind, but you have to have an awareness of it. And if you just pay no attention to it, that's probably doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. Now, how about you directing Illusion? Tell me about that.
Well,
when is that coming up?
Well, if I had nothing else to do, I would plunge into it right now. It's about a movie star and where movie stars really come from, and it's all told in a literary form, which is called it's kind of it's like eyewitnesses, if you will. It's like Rashomon, where you've got all these different people. I actually created 50 characters, and they're all talking about this woman who showed up seemingly out of nowhere. You've probably read articles like this in like Rolling Stone or something. It's called an oral history, and it's just different people who knew a famous person, and they are quoted, and that becomes the way the story is told. And you have to figure out for yourself who that person probably really was. So they did one, I remember, in Rolling Stone for John Lennon, and one person said, he was a genius. And then the next person said, he was the worst person I ever met. As you read those two things side by side, and you have to kind of decide what you think was the truth. So my whole book is nothing but that, and you are left to decipher who this movie star was and where she came from and what it all meant and how she affected everybody around her more than she actually did anything. It was just by being around fame and by being around her, and she was so exquisite, and it affected everybody. It made some people jealous. It made some people fall madly, deeply, profoundly in love with her. It ruined other people's lives. Fame does that. Being around fame can affect people more than it affects the famous person. So with that in mind, what I would do is direct the film. I already know, how I would like to do it. And it would be 50 different actors.
50 different actors?
50 different actors, yeah.
Oh my God. It sounds like a great project.
I think it would be, something unexpected, because it's the way I'm telling the story, and they all have a different point of view, obviously, and they all have something different to say about it. And there's a mystery at the heart of it too. I mean, there are inexplicable deaths that occur along the way, and how did that happen, and what caused it, and who did it, and what happened here. So she's in that way that some people can drop into a social group. There's a group of friends, let's say, and I think in some way we've all experienced this, and some new person comes in. Either they marry in through a mutual friend, or they move into the area, something, and they sort of affect the whole group. And they can affect the whole group in a wonderful way, or they can affect the whole group in a negative way. And then they move on. And I remember hearing a story about a person like that. It was this woman, and that she would move from town to town. And I don't know if it was conscious and deliberate, but it seemed like it was. And everywhere she ended up, she would, though she was kind of gentle and lovable and people immediately responded to her, she would disrupt everything, and then she would move on. So people became sort of, entangled in her charms, and then everything would go inside out and upside down. And when it was at its maximum state of chaos, she would just vanish and then go to another town. And I thought, and she didn't really do anything. She just was there. It's just that she had this kind of charismatic way about her, and it drew everybody to her, and their own unresolved dramas in their own lives were triggered just by being around her.
I'd love to talk to you more about the psychology of that. We get into these deep discussions on where, narcissism went really wrong.
Yes. Yes. Well, and you know what? And it goes back to what we're talking about with plastic surgery. Of course, in this case, this woman in my book is quite beautiful. And that alone can cloud people's minds. I mean, just the mere fact of her beauty drew out both great magnetism. She was able to magnetize, and she was also able to create jealousies in others by doing nothing, just by the mere fact that she existed.
Yeah. Now, what is the name of that?
Talented. I'm sorry?
What is the name of this plastic surgery stories?
Oh, the plastic surgery story is called Mirari. That's the movie.
Mirari. Okay, the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
keeping everybody straight here.
Yeah.
And Illusion is the movie star. And then you have a new book coming out at the end of the year again, too. Yeah, so there's a lot happening with you.
Yeah.
And Zoopraxis.
Zoopraxis is coming out. That's
films,
for sure.
Broadway.
The Ritual of Illusion is already out. That's the one about the movie star. And then I've got another novel coming out at the end of the year called Paranoia. Of course. What else?
Yeah. It's always fun.
Yeah.
Fun to explore, because we all get into that, stepping backwards and falling down if we don't step forward and get out of our own fear-based emotion.
That's the key to the whole thing. It really is the key to the whole thing. And that's part of, I think, knowing you and knowing the work you've done and just being your friend. That's so much what propels you in life.
Yeah, thank you. Because I know that's with you too. It is interesting that we can be such best friends, because you're so busy. It's mind-boggling as well.
Well, yeah, yeah. I wish we saw each other more often, and I know you feel the same. It's just our schedules are so, we're just so damn popular.
Yeah, it is, but it's okay. I feel that I'm very fulfilled in my life, and I know that RC is too, by helping others just get to the next level, or entertainment, or, all sorts of wonderful things that you do in your life. And I know that mine is very fulfilled. We are on our countdown. I want everybody to be able to find RC. It is rcmatheson.com, rcmatheson.com. Okay. I love you.
Love you too. Thanks, Karen.
Okay. Thank you, Richard, for being on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure. Bye.
Okay. Blessings, everyone.
Thank you for sharing your time with Tara Sutphen. Find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams by visiting her website, at tarasutphen.com.